Hello and welcome to iNurture video on financial derivatives. After watching this video, you will be able to state the meaning of financial derivative, explain the purpose of financial derivative. Before understanding what financial derivatives are, let us first understand what is a derivative. You might have heard of a derivative. So what exactly could a derivative be? Derivative is an instrument which derives its value from something else. Hence, they are called as derivatives. The instrument from which the derivative derives its value is called an underlying asset. Let's see an example. Let us assume that there are two assets, asset A and asset B. The value of asset A is rupees 1000 and that of asset B is rupees 100. When the value of asset A goes up to rupees 1500, the value of asset B goes to rupees 150. Similarly, when the value of asset A goes down to rupees 500, the value of asset B goes down to rupees 50. In this case, asset A can be called as the underlying asset, asset B can be called as the derivative. The most important takeaway from this example is the value of the derivative depends on the value of the underlying asset. Now let us focus on what financial derivatives are. A financial derivative is a contract that derives its value from the underlying asset. The underlying asset may be stocks, bonds, currencies, commodities. For example, the change in the value of share will have an impact on the value of a derivative contract. Well, there are two major important reasons for the use of derivatives. A. Hedging. Most often, derivatives are used to minimize the risk in a physical market. Consider the example of a soybean producer and a food product manufacturer. As we all know, price of soybean fluctuates due to the changes in market demand and supply. The fall in the price of soybean will have a bad impact for the producer. On the other hand, a rise in the price of soybean will be bad for the food product manufacturer. In such circumstances, both parties can reduce the risk of price fluctuations by entering into what is called as a forward contract. In this context, a forward contract is a private agreement between a soybean producer and a food product manufacturer. Under this contract, the soybean producer has an obligation to sell and the food product manufacturer has an obligation to buy soybean at a particular price on a particular future date. Let us say the soybean producer agrees to sell 5 quintals of soybean at rupees 2500 per quintal at the end of the 6th month. The soybean producer is protecting himself from the fall in price of soybean. On the other hand, the manufacturer protects himself from the rise or increase in the price of soybean. Since the price can move either which ways, this transaction is called a zero-sum game. This is a very good example of a forward contract. Speculation. The second main use of derivatives is speculation. Often, traders are not merely interested in mitigating risk, rather they are also interested in generating profits. Generally, derivatives for hedging and speculation are different from each other. Hedgers are interested in mitigating risk in the contract, whereas speculators are interested in earning profits. As such, hedgers use derivatives like insurance policies on the one hand, whereas speculators are trying to identify business opportunities. Students, in this video, we have understood the meaning of financial derivatives and are able to explain the purpose of financial derivatives.